kali ini saya akan mengajak Anda untuk melihat di Kampung Batik Giriloyo.
Karena kalau batik klasik Jogja itu adanya di Kampung Batik Giriloyo ini, Mas. Batik Giriloyo ini semua membatik khusus untuk keluarga keraton. Batik kan selalu hidup dan menghidupi kami ya.
Betul.
Ya.
Salam cantik Jogja, kota batik dunia.
Halo sobat cantik. Aduh, apa kabar Mas Hana?
Alhamdulillah kabar baik, Mas Khalid.
Wah, alhamdulillah sehat banget Mas.
Syukur alhamdulillah.
Kulon Progo kan terkenal dengan geblek renteng Mas.
Iya,
Adakah di sini juga unsur geblek rentengnya?
ada.
Konsep abstrak yang dibawa oleh Mas Danang di dalam karyanya ini ternyata membuat banyak usia mencintai atau menyukai apa yang dibuat oleh Mas Danang.
Iya.
Ada yang nulis pakai malam, ada yang mewarnai, kemudian ngecelup Mas ya.
Ngecelop, ada yang ngecap juga.
Ngecap juga. Ini kalau anak muda pun pakai itu kayak nggak merasa tua.
Iya betul. Jadi batik itu jangan seperti orang memakai batik itu terkesan lebih tua. Jangan. Ya.
Tanpa orang tua nggak ada anak muda. Inilah orang tua. Oke, jagong manten, wah mantennya malah nggak ngapura ini. Sampai ketemu lagi di vlog berikutnya.
Salam cantik Jogja, kota batik dunia.
Sebuah perjuangan berawal dari ketiadaan. Detik demi detiknya diisi dengan usaha tak kenal menyerah, meniupkan harapan, mengusir setiap peluh dan lelah, mengisi lembaran kehidupan dengan harapan dan asa untuk meraih kemenangan di akhir perjuangan. Membatik tak sekedar tradisi. Membatik mengajarkan tentang ketekunan, kesabaran, ketelitian, keindahan dan seni. Batik, warisan berharga bagi generasi mendatang. Mari lestarikan batik. Jogja, kota dengan kekayaan tradisi budaya, menghadirkan gubahan karya seni, tangan-tangan tekun bersahaja. Tak sebatas sandang semata, namun mampu menjadi penggerak karya, cipta dan karsa. Terus mengalir dan berkembang, tak lekang masa. Inilah batik, persembahan Jogja untuk dunia. Salam cantik, Jogja, kota batik dunia.
Kan ada alasannya kenapa bisa batik itu dimunculkan. Batik ini dibuat dengan karakteristik canting yang berbeda.
1800 sekian di masa HB ke-7 dilanjutkan ke HB 8.
Mungkin sudah hafalan ya, sambil merem pun mungkin bisa ya. Karena kan sudah zaman kecilnya sudah mulai batik terus kan.
Jadi berbicara pewarna itu tidak hanya warna yang indah, tidak hanya produk, tetapi melalui pewarna itu bisa menjadi sarana komunikasi atau disebut sebagai manunggaling kawula Gusti.
Gimana nih tren modenya ke depan? Apakah tetap akan segmented, tetap ini bisa rentangan semua usia gitu?
Harapannya tetap akan lestari ke generasi yang mendatang, tapi jangan lepas dari akar budayanya. Ini kekuatan dari motif tradisi yang dikembangkan dalam kekiniannya, dan itu makna-makna dalam setiap motif itu banyak makna simbolik. Sekar jagat, pawung seperti yang dipakai Mbak Rosa, kemudian lunglungan dipakai Bu Edia. Inilah yang kekuatan yang tidak dipunyai oleh batik-batik dimanapun di luar Indonesia. Jangan sampai yang kekunoan itu menjadi tidak kekinian.
Iya betul.
Kenapa Mbak Dia memilih batik menjadi salah satu untuk membuat karya-karya desain baju seorang Ayu Dia?
kamu tuh harus cinta batik. Ini tuh salah satu jati diri bangsamu gitu loh.
Anak muda sekarang makin kreatif juga. Jadi ada banyak cara untuk mengekspresikan tentang batik gitu. So free yourself, express yourself through batik.
Kita ke pasar pakai batik, kita ke acara resmi pakai batik, even kita menikah pun pakai batik. Kemudian kita meninggal, itu ditutup dengan kain batik. Biasanya kan seperti itu kan. Batik itu adalah daur hidup masyarakat Indonesia gitu, masyarakat Nusantara gitu.
Batik merupakan salah satu warisan budaya di Indonesia yang menjadi ciri khas Provinsi Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta. Namun sayangnya, kondisi pandemi COVID-19 menempatkan batik sebagai industri fashion berada pada posisi high alert dan mengalami krisis eksistensial.
Pada masa pandemi ini, omset batik betul-betul menurun.
Showroom-showroom yang biasa mengorder batik kami ditutup.
Bantul, salah satu kabupaten di Provinsi Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta yang memiliki semboyan Projo Taman Sari. Filosofi ini menggambarkan Bantul sebagai wilayah yang memiliki potensi sumber daya alam dan manusia yang produktif dan profesional. Batik Butimo merupakan salah satu potret industri batik yang cukup berkembang di Bantul. Industri ini mampu menghasilkan 100 batik tulis tekno dan 100 batik tulis per bulan. Hadirnya masa pandemi akibat virus corona menjadi badai yang cukup keras menghantam semua lini industri, termasuk industri batik. Masa pandemi juga memberikan dampak terhadap batik Butimo. Hal tersebut dilihat dengan berkurangnya jumlah pembatik Butimo secara drastis.
Milenial akan mengadakan batik khusus.
Batik merupakan salah satu warisan budaya Indonesia yang keberadaannya diakui oleh dunia internasional. Yogyakarta sebagai World Batik City telah mewujudkan langkah nyata proses regenerasi nilai membatik kepada generasi muda. Salam canting, Jogja, Kota Batik Dunia.
Kali ini saya akan mengajak Anda untuk melihat di Kampung Batik Giriloyo.
Karena kalau batik klasik Jogja itu adanya di Kampung Batik Giriloyo ini, Mas. Batik Giriloyo ini semua membatik khusus untuk keluarga keraton. Batik kan selalu hidup dan menghidupi kami ya.
Betul.
Ya.
Salam cantik Jogja, kota batik dunia.
Halo sobat cantik. Aduh, apa kabar Mas Hana?
Alhamdulillah kabar baik. Mas Halid?
Wah, alhamdulillah sehat banget Mas.
Syukur alhamdulillah.
Kulon Progo terkenal dengan geblek renteng Mas.
Iya.
Adakah di sini juga unsur geblek rentengnya?
Ada.
Konsep abstrak yang dibawa oleh Mas Anang di dalam karyanya ini ternyata membuat banyak usia mencintai atau menyukai apa yang dibuat oleh Mas Anang.
Iya.
Ada yang nulis pakai malam, ada yang mewarnai, kemudian ngecelup Mas ya.
Ngecelup, ada yang ngecap juga.
Ngecap juga. Ini kalau anak muda pun pakai itu kayak nggak merasa tua.
Iya betul. Jadi batik itu jangan seperti orang memakai batik itu terkesan lebih tua. Jangan. Ya.
Tanpa orang tua nggak ada anak muda. Itulah orang tua. Oke, jagong manten, wah mantennya malah gak ngapura ini. Lagi sampai ketemu lagi di vlog berikutnya.
Salam cantik Jogja, kota batik dunia.
Sebuah perjuangan berawal dari
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the opening ceremony of the International Webinar Jogja International Batik Biennale 2021 is about to start. For participants, please kindly activate and adjust your video camera in proper position and keep your audio inactive during the meeting or turn off or mute the microphone of your device. Thank you. Batik is Indonesia and Yogyakarta is the world batik city. In order to support the existence of Yogyakarta as the world batik city, various activities have been carried out by the government of the special region of Yogyakarta. One of the events held is Jogja International Batik Biennale, which has been started in 2016. And for JIBB 2021 is now held with the theme Borderless Batik, and the sub-theme is From Heritage to Millennials Lifestyle. The Honorable Mrs. Retno Marsudi, Indonesian Foreign Minister, Gusti Kanjeng Ratu Hemas, the Chairperson of Regional National Craft Council of the Special Region of Yogyakarta, Kanjeng Gusti Bendoro Raden Ayu Adipati Pakualam, Mr. Gatot Sabtadi, the Chairperson of Jogja International Batik Biennale 2021, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the International Webinar Jogja International Batik Biennale 2021, Marketability, Internationality, and Sustainability of Batik for Millennial Lifestyle. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today's agenda will be opening, singing Indonesian anthem, speech from the Chairperson of Regional National Craft Council of the Special Region of Yogyakarta, and keynote speech from Indonesian Foreign Minister, as well as presentation from 3 speakers and closing. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for Indonesian anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a seat. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we go to the next agenda. And we will have the speech of the Chairperson of Regional National Craft Council of the Special Region of Yogyakarta. Please welcome Gusti Kanjeng Ratu Hemas.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita sekalian. Puji syukur kita panjatkan kepada Tuhan Yang Maha Esa yang telah melimpahkan rahmat kepada kita semua. Sehingga pada sore hari ini kita dapat hadir secara online dalam webinar yang diselenggarakan dalam rangka acara Jogja International Batik Biennale ketiga. Sebelumnya, perkenankan saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Ibu Retno Marsudi, Menteri Luar Negeri Republik Indonesia yang telah berkenan menjadi keynote speaker dalam webinar kali ini. Dengan mengambil tema Marketability, Internationality, and Sustainability Batik for Milenial Lifestyle. Juga kepada para pembicara yang berada di berbagai tempat, Mr. Edric Ong, Advisor of WCC Asia Pacific Region from Malaysia, Ibu Fetty Kwartati, Direktur Utama PT Sarinah, dan Ibu Maria Irma Yunita Ardhiyanti, Corporate Affairs Director PT Fast Retailing Indonesia, UNIQLO. Kepada seluruh peserta webinar ini, dimanapun berada, saya mengapresiasi kepesertaan Bapak Ibu semuanya dalam memberikan perhatian pada upaya kita untuk melestarikan warisan budaya khususnya batik. Kami merasa bangga seminar online ini dapat menghadirkan pembicara dari berbagai profesi dan latar belakang yang tentunya akan memperkaya khasanah keilmuan tentang batik, yang akan menguatkan batik sebagai komoditi berlatar belakang seni dan budaya adiluhung Indonesia. Terlebih lagi, dengan hadirnya pembicara kunci Ibu Menteri Luar Negeri Republik Indonesia, kita berharap batik makin mendunia. Dan juga seperti kita ketahui, peserta webinar ini diikuti oleh peserta dari berbagai negara melalui KBRI di negara-negara sahabat. Ibu Menteri dan Bapak Ibu sekalian yang saya hormati, sudah 7 tahun Yogyakarta menyandang predikat sebagai kota kerajinan batik dunia. Pada waktu itu anugerah tersebut diserahkan di kota Dongyang, Cina oleh Presiden World Craft Council, Mr. Wang San, disaksikan oleh wakil organisasi kerajinan dari 61 negara di dunia. Sebuah kebanggaan yang mengandung konsekuensi untuk mempertanggungjawabkan dan sekaligus mempertahankannya, karena setiap 2 tahun predikat ini dievaluasi oleh pemberinya, yaitu World Craft Council. Oleh karena itu, kami setiap 2 tahun sekali menyelenggarakan event internasional yang kami beri nama Jogja International Batik Biennale atau JIBB. Kegiatan yang selalu menghadirkan para petinggi WCC dan masyarakat internasional ini merupakan sarana evaluasi apakah predikat Jogja sebagai kota batik dunia yang kita terima 7 tahun yang lalu itu masih layak kita miliki, merujuk pada kriteria yang ditetapkan oleh WCC. Kegiatan Biennale ini sedianya dilaksanakan pada tahun 2020 yang lalu. Akan tetapi seperti kita ketahui bersama, pada tahun tersebut angka penyebaran pandemi COVID-19 masih sangat tinggi dan cenderung belum terkendali. Maka dengan mentaati peraturan pemerintah dan juga himbauan dari WHO, kegiatan JIBB 2020 kami tunda. Akhirnya setelah melalui pembahasan yang terperinci, kami memutuskan untuk melaksanakannya pada tahun 2021 dengan mematuhi protokol kesehatan dalam sebuah rangkaian acara sepanjang tahun. Perubahan yang sangat signifikan adalah ditiadakannya pameran offline dan digantikan dengan pameran online. Semoga semua pihak dapat memahami hal ini karena kami sependapat mungkin menghindari kerumunan yang ditimbulkan oleh kegiatan JIBB. Akan tetapi, semua kejadian pasti terkandung hikmah di dalamnya. Misalnya dengan banyaknya pembatasan mobilitas manusia, maka jual beli online meningkat drastis. Munculnya marketplace baru dan pemberdayaan seluruh sosial media sebagai sarana komunikasi termasuk berjualan produk menjadi sangat banyak. Sehingga para pelaku UMKM khususnya dapat terus hidup dan bertahan pada masa pandemik ini. Termasuk dalam acara webinar kali ini, kami relatif lebih mudah untuk memperluas jangkauan dan bahkan bisa dikatakan jangkauan seminar kali ini tidak terbatas dan tidak mengenal batas-batas geografis lagi. Bapak, Ibu, seluruh peserta webinar, tentunya webinar Jogja International Batik Biennale yang ketiga ini mengambil tema Marketability, Internationality, and Sustainability. Batik for Milenial Lifestyle. Tema ini mengandung makna yang lebih luas dengan tetap mengacu pada kriteria yang ditentukan oleh WCC, yaitu 7 kriteria yang menjadi dasar ditetapkannya Yogyakarta sebagai sebuah kota kerajinan batik dunia. Marketability, batik harus tetap menjadi pasar sebagai sebuah komoditi perdagangan baik di pasar lokal maupun internasional. Internationality, batik harus menjadi sebuah produk yang dikenal oleh masyarakat internasional dan dapat menjadi sarana diplomasi budaya yang akan mempererat hubungan internasional kita. Sebagai sebuah negara yang berdaulat tentunya. Sustainability, batik harus tetap lestari sebagai sebuah komoditi tradisional yang harus selalu ada dengan segala keasliannya. Sehingga bila dilacak asal-usulnya masih tetap utuh seperti semula. Dan yang terakhir adalah batik for millennial lifestyle. Generasi milenial adalah mereka yang lahir di rentang tahun 1980-1994 yang saat ini usianya berkisar antara 30-40 tahun, yang relatif masih mudah untuk kita ajak berkomunikasi tentang sejarah, budaya, dan heritage. Oleh karena itu, dari generasi ini kita berharap mereka bisa menjadi jembatan emas untuk meneruskan ke generasi selanjutnya, supaya dapat mengenakan produk budaya tradisional, termasuk batik dengan segala aspeknya dan konsep ke depannya, sehingga batik dapat tetap lestari sepanjang zaman. Ibu Menteri, para narasumber, dan seluruh peserta webinar, demikian sekilas ilustrasi yang bisa saya berikan tentang webinar yang diselenggarakan dalam rangkaian acara Jogja International Batik Biennale. Saya berharap dalam diskusi nanti dapat dibahas lebih terperinci lagi, sehingga dapat menghasilkan kajian yang lebih terukur guna mewujudkan cita-cita kita melestarikan sekaligus memajukan batik. Semoga Tuhan selalu memberikan bimbingan kepada kita semua. Amin. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Gusti Kanjeng Ratu Hemas for the greeting speech. Ladies and gentlemen, was one of the cultural products that has a specific, original, and cultural identity is the cultural art of batik. Batik is an Indonesian cultural work art admired by the world for sure. And Indonesian batik got a recognition from UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, as the masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity and in 2009. In addition to that, adding more credits to this recognition, Yogyakarta was named as the World Batik City by World Craft Council in 2014. In order to support the existence of Yogyakarta as the World Batik City, Various activities have been carried out by the government of Special Region of Yogyakarta. And one of the events held is JIBB, which has been started in 2016 and continued in 2018. This year, Jogja International Batik Biennale 2021 is held with the theme Borderless Batik, and the sub-theme is From Heritage to Millennials Lifestyle. So let's watch the trailer of Jogja International Batik Biennale 2021. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, so moving right along, the next agenda is the keynote speech that will be guided by our moderator, Mr. George Iwan Marantika. But before that, let me introduce him. So he holds his bachelor degree from Biola University, USA, and master degree from the University of Laverne, USA. And he's now the national president of Indonesia Australia Business Council, or IABC, Honorary Consul Hungary. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please welcome Mr. George Iwan Marantika.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor for me to be able to moderate this session today. A very intriguing session related to the marketability, internationality, and sustainability of batik for the millennial lifestyle. And obviously, as a millennial at heart, in which obviously I am a Generation X, but a millennial at heart, this is a very intriguing topic for us today. And therefore, we will have various distinguished speakers that will be speaking today for you to be able to connect with. And I've noticed in the audience, we've got people coming from all over the world, all the way from Vilnius, Lithuania, Vita Stankaitiene, and also from representing the Catalan region of Barcelona, Maria Satu, and also obviously representing Australia is Mr. Arfad Baparsha. So we have a great audience here representing the whole world. And in order to kick off this topic today, the marketability, internationality, and sustainability of batik for millennials lifestyle, we have with us the minister, the Indonesian minister of Foreign Affairs, or Foreign Minister of Indonesia, Ibu Retno Marsudi, and she will give a keynote speech. And with that, we will kick this off with her keynote speech, and we will allow her to present that speech. Ibu Retno Marsudi, the Indonesian Foreign Minister.
Yang saya hormati Ibu Gusti Kanjeng Ratu Hemas, yang saya hormati Ibu Gusti Kanjeng Ratu Bendoro Raden Ayu, Adipati Paku Alam ke-10. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for having me today. Batik is a creative expression of our tradition and culture. It is a powerful source of pride and identity for Indonesian. Over the past decade, we have witnessed growing global recognition and appreciation of batik. In 2009, UNESCO acknowledged batik as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. 5 years ago, the World Craft Council proclaimed the city of Yogyakarta as the World Batik City. Clearly, batik has the potential to be a tool of our soft power diplomacy and increase Indonesia's positive image abroad. Going forward, there are two things that should be of focus. First, mainstreaming batik in international stage. This means increasing the visibility of batik. In May 2019, during Indonesia's presidency of the UN Security Council, for the first time ever, the UN Secretary General and almost all members of the UNSC wore batik and filled the chamber with an array of colors and beautiful batik patterns. Just recently, Papuan batik appeared at the New York Fashion Week. Batik was also showcased for a month of All-Russian Decorative Art Museum in Moscow. Going forward, we must also make use of our upcoming G20 chairmanship in 2022 and the convening of the World Conference on the Creative Economy to promote batik. These may seem like small steps, but they are very effective in drawing international interest to Indonesia. Batik and its philosophy can be employed to introduce our values to the world, as well as our identity as a nation that is proud of its culture. Second, accelerating economic recovery through batik. Ladies and gentlemen, Batik is a sort of livelihood for millions of Indonesians across generations. From the elders who keep the heritage alive to the young generation who connects our tradition to contemporary ideas and innovation. Thus, not only is Batik a living tradition, a national identity cherished by all, it also provides economic opportunities to many. The pandemic may deliver serious blows on our economy and trade, but our Batik sector proves to be quite resilient. Despite a decrease in our total export value in 2019-2020, Batik in fact has an increasing export trend. It hit almost $18 million in the first semester of 2019 and more than 163 million in the first semester of 2020. Concrete evidence shows how creative industry contribute to economic growth and resilience. Therefore, we must capitalize on the potential of Batik to boost our economic recovery. Our job now is to expand the international market and help our Batik industries meet demands. Colleagues, promoting Batik requires cooperation and active participation of all Indonesians. We all must play our role as Batik ambassadors and diplomats. So let us work together in increasing the marketability of Batik. I thank you very much.
So now we're going to begin to kick off our dialogue today, and we just heard from the Indonesian Foreign Minister, Ibu Retno Marsudi. Very interesting comments, and just to add on the topic of marketability and internationality, the Minister of Industry of Indonesia just last week announced that Indonesian Batik export achieved up to $532 million of export, an increase in export. So there is, you might say, an attraction internationally on Indonesia's Batik. And for that, we will hear from our first speaker today, and that is Mr. Edric Ong. Mr. Edric Ong is a multi-awarded Malaysian designer of natural dyed textiles, fashion, and crafts. He is the founder of the World Eco Fiber and Textile Network to further the cause of natural fibers and dyes, and the convener of the Milenial WEFT Forum since 1999. So a distinguished person and personality in the worlds of craft globally. We want to give the floor now first to Mr. Edric Ong to hear his comments and his remarks in regards to this topic today. Marketability, internationality, and sustainability of Batik for the millennial lifestyle. Mr. Edric Ong, the Zoom floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And once again, congratulations to JIBB for hosting this Biennale. And I bring greetings from the World Crafts Council International, as well as the World Crafts Council Asia Pacific region. And as president of APADA, the ASEAN Handicraft Promotion and Development Association, I bring greetings and congratulations. The topic is very interesting because I'm no longer a millennial, but from what I have experienced and seen over the years, how do we promote traditional arts and culture to the millennial generation? And in particular, about Batik. Next. World Crafts Council strongly believes that a nation stays alive when its culture stays alive. But as we all know, culture is ever evolving and changing and moving with the times. And therefore, it is a living culture a living nation that therefore reflects the culture. And we have to continue to understand that batik in Indonesia, especially, is one of its strongest cultural legacy that should not be forgotten, but to be built upon and built upon greatly to higher heights. Next. We know that cultural identity is so important nowadays. We believe in unity through diversity, especially in the ASEAN nations, and the identity that reflects the character of the nation and its people. Now we know that every ASEAN country has been asserting their own nationalistic identity through their dress or national costume. If you look at the picture on the left, this is India, and India has always managed to retain its sari identity among its ladies in the country. Half of the nation wears sari, if you like, on important occasions, and that has become a continuing legacy. Sometimes we say an heirloom tradition that is passed on from generation to generation. A national identity through dress or national costume. But however, ASEAN is at the crossroads of trade and the confluence of cultures. And so the current fashion of the day is very much a mixed match of traditional and modern Western style. Next. The World Crafts Council mission seeks to bring crafts and craftspersons into the mainstream of life, connecting with the past through maintaining inherited traditions and looking into the future through the use of modern technology to experiment, to innovate, and reach out to new markets. So we are not saying that you have to always stick to traditional tools, but we innovate and improve upon what we have to build upon it so that we can continue to develop the identity and the finest of batik tradition. On the left, for example, you see there's beautiful hats which are embroidered from the Dayaks of Borneo, compared with the traditional dolls from China. On the right, you see in the photo the national identity of the Filipino man, the Barong Tagalog, which is woven in pineapple fiber. Next. Next, please. Yes. So we talked about conservation and sustaining batik techniques. We talked about whether the way in which we have been doing batik using wax is something which is sustainable, whether it is ecologically friendly, and therefore we have to look at maybe ways in which we manage the use of the technique of waxing and dyeing, and the very way in which we also dispose of the wax and all the dyes as well. And although many other countries such as Turkey, India, China, Japan, West Africa has been using the technique of dye-resisting decoration within the textile realm, I believe personally none have developed batik to its present-day art form as the highly developed intricate batik found in Indonesia. And so I am wearing proudly an Iwan Tirta vintage shirt, and behind you, I'm sure everybody recognizes that this is batik from Jogja. Next. Fashion designers such as the late Iwan Tirta, whom I've met, have aggressively introduced batik into the Western world, into world fashion scene. But that was maybe 2 or 3 decades ago. They have done much to promote the Indonesian art of batik dress in the traditional and modern forms. High fashion designs drawn on silk are very popular still. And it takes months to create and cost millions of rupiahs. Apip of Yogyakarta, a friend of mine, is so well known now among the top Indonesian batik couturiers. And I know that now there is evolving such a band of Indonesian young designers as well. Next. So we are talking now about marketing Indonesian style, Indonesian batik to the world. But we also know that the cultural identity of Indonesia is that it is one of the world's most populous Muslim nation. And therefore, Muslim identity, Muslim fashion, Muslimah fashion continues to be something which is developing and evolving as well. And we recognize that Indonesia is in the forefront of promoting Muslimah fashion internationally. And this is one, I believe, of the ways in which the millennial generation, in its expression of fashion using batik to the world, can take the leadership. Next. And we also that millennials and the next new modern generation, they are always looking at trends. They're looking at internet. They are well connected with what's happening on the runways of Milan, of New York, in London Fashion Week, and even more so because now everything is online, Digital Fashion Week, International Digital Fashion Week. And they look at glamour and trend setting, what is current and not what is in the last fashion week. So millennials are attracted to this and they're keeping up with their peers. And that is important because it is keeping up with the trend. So we have to be very careful about where we strike the balance between tradition and modernity. Are we willing to sacrifice some of our traditional motives? But we are very careful of safeguarding what is sacred, what is important, and what is the identity of a Jogja batik, identity of a batik from another region of Indonesia. And we are very careful of what we call cultural appropriation, that nobody takes our cultural motives and misappropriates it internationally. Next. So you see, Velasco, an African batik designer. So this is what is now in mainstream fashion media. You look at how they project and market their product to catch the eye. We're always talking now about eyeball content. How well you are able to catch the eye of those who are just clicking away on the internet. So it's not only the high fashion, but also next, the daily casual fashion styles. Next, please. Designing for the domestic market, designing for the international market. There are two different ball games. But again, as I want to repeat, Indonesia taking the lead, Muslimah fashion, plus batik style, please take note of that. Next. But now we are talking about beyond the millennial generation. If you're only focusing on the 30s and the 40s, we are too late. We have to catch them when they are young. And thank you, Gusti Hemas, because when I came to visit Jogja and I was brought to your new Batik College and Batik School, I know that Jogja has struck the right chord because you are beginning with educating the young so that they know the skills, they will continue the tradition of making good batik. But beyond the millennial generation, we have to focus, to inspire, to guide, nurture the cultural taste and character of the next generation. Next, please. As I said, there's the cyber challenge to cultural identity. In this time and age, it's a global phenomenon that at the click of your mouse, one can gain access to information on the web. Designers can copy anything that you are posting, and very soon they are copying and manufacturing somewhere else in the world. So how do we safeguard this? How do we safeguard that a printed copy of your special handmade, hand-waxed batik with your instrument of the chanting is not just printed out in the thousands and millions of meters somewhere else and are a challenge to your own batik economy. Finally, thank you very much. Next. This is my website, and you may contact me, and then we can discuss and talk more about the future of batik. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pa Edric Ong. And I think one aspect that you've mentioned very correctly, it has to be eyeball catching, yeah? And especially when you're talking to the millennials. So Andy Warhol said 15 minutes of fame can take you a long way. Probably in this era of social media, it's 15 seconds of fame can take you a long way. So thank you, Pa Edric Ong. And so just sharing with us, coming in from Malaysia, yeah? Kuala Lumpur. You're coming in from Kuala Lumpur?
No, I'm in Kuching, Sarawak, in Borneo.
Kuching, Sarawak. So coming in from Kuching, Sarawak. Thank you, Pa Edric Ong. And in that regards of 15 seconds of fame, we're going to talk about branding, and how we can brand our batik better. And again, as we have a very distinguished audience from all over the world, Kuching, Malaysia, obviously Pa Edric Ong. We've got people coming in from Vilnius, Lithuania, from Barcelona, Australia, and around the world. We also want to, again, honor and recognize, I noticed Her Majesty, our Queen, Gusti Kanjeng Ratu Hemas, is still with us. So thank you, Your Majesty, Gusti Kanjeng Ratu Hemas, to still be able to join with us today. So we're going to talk about now the branding of batik. And we have with us a very well-known brand, UNIQLO, well-known all over the world. And even in this heritage city, we have a UNIQLO. So I think this is very unique, because of the branding aspect. So we have with us Miss Irma, Maria Irma Yunita Ardhiyanti. And she is the Corporate Affairs Director of PT Fast Retailing Indonesia, or UNIQLO. Irma has 20 years of experience as legal counsel. This is very important, brand and legality. Working in the private practice as a corporate lawyer and spending the rest of her career in legal counsel in multiple industries, telco, IT, and retail. And she is currently the Legal and Government Relations Sustainability Director of PT Fast Retailing Indonesia, or UNIQLO. And Ms. Irma, old friend of mine actually, because I knew her from her past career. So thank you for joining us today, Ms. Irma. And please share with us how we can brand our batik to the millennial. The Zoom floor is yours.
Thank you, Pak George, for the warm welcome. It's a pleasure to finally meet you again in this prestigious event. Congratulations, JIBB, for the successful enrollment of this event. But before I share the story of our UNIQLO Indonesia Batik Motif Collection, please allow me to first give my warm greetings to the Honorable Ibu Retno Marsudi, our Indonesian Foreign Minister, also the Honorable Ibu Gusti Kanjeng Ratu Hemas, the Chairperson of Regional National Craft Council of the Special Region of Yogyakarta, and also all of our distinguished speakers, Mr. Edric Ong Lingbin, and also Ibu Fetty Kwartati. Good afternoon, everyone. It's been such a great honor for me to be here today, having the opportunity to speak on behalf of UNIQLO Indonesia in this event. And today I will be sharing with all of you about our journey in introducing batik as part of our global collection. In UNIQLO, we always believe that our brand, our product is living the values that we are more than just a company that produce and sell clothing. Next slide, please. And this is because, excuse me, can you go to the next slide, please? So we have this philosophy, what we call in UNIQLO as lifewear principle. This is our DNA. Basically, this principle is being translated into the clothing design to make everyone's life better. It is a simple, high quality, everyday wear, basically bridging the functionality and the beauty in the product offering. So we believe that in the power of clothing, it means that in practice, we make functional clothing that improve people's life. So the aim, the bigger cause to help people around the world, irrespective of their race, class, gender, or religion, to live their lives better by making absolute quality affordable. So the next question is how this lifewear connected with the sustainability concept. Through lifewear, basically, we are reaching to improve people's life and community through our product and business activities. So this is having same principle with the sustainability itself, actually. So we are creating a lot of initiatives on how to enrich people's life quality and to also harmonize our society. Going to the next slide, please. Thank you. So if you see in the screen, we actually have these 3 sustainability pillars of people, planet, and society that we basically enroll in what we do our business. So as a company itself, UNIQLO is actually sustainable. Through our society pillar, most particularly, we always challenge ourselves to think of what more we can do for our society. Next slide, please. So this translates into how actually does Batik started to become part of our collection. To give a bit of a history background, back in 2017 in the global level, our owner Tadashi Yanai has introduced this new challenge for all UNIQLO's local presence to first and foremost aim to transform UNIQLO into a truly global brand by introducing the concept of global is local and local is global. And so what does it mean is that we need to translate this into a concept on how to run a global business that is also localized. So we need to come up with ideas on how to actually expand our lineup of localized products without sacrificing our globally recognized identity. So therefore, our Indonesian creative team in merchandising and marketing were given the opportunities to explore and then propose what sort of local product or traditional art that we can propose to global headquarters and see what can we adopt as part of our UNIQLO collection. Next slide, please. So UNIQLO Indonesian creative team believed at that time that Batik was the best choice to represent Indonesian traditional art. So we can adopt that as part of our global collection. Indonesian Batik was added to UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity list in 2009, and it has also been internationally recognized as an historical fabric of human civilization. So with this, we also see that Batik has successfully continues to be relevant and respected by the younger generation as well in Indonesia, and continue to actually become one of the fashion icons that are highly valued. So for instance, at that time as well, we know that Batik received a very significant exposure in Jakarta Fashion Week, with many retailers trying to appeal Batik as sophisticated daily wear for 20 to 30 years old. Basically, this is mostly the main target of our market in Indonesia as well. So as fashion develops, many fashion designers try to nurture Batik tradition by applying a combination of Batik patterns and colors into their designs to enhance the beauty of their work with a more simplified pattern and technique. Next slide. So with this in mind, UNIQLO believes that it has the potential to introduce the brand as lifewear is for everyone and industrial by providing consumers with Batik motif shirts that can be worn daily, using comfortable fabrics as our strong offering at an affordable price. So as a global brand, we believe that introducing Batik as part of our collection is a breakthrough. It's something that even our competitor at that time has not yet done in the Indonesian market. So with this initiative, we are giving a chance for our customer to be able to wear Batik produced in a high quality fabric at an affordable price, and also as part of a global collection also, which opens this window of opportunity to introduce batik to the global market. So at that time, as a pilot project, we collaborated with Indonesian Batik Association or Yayasan Batik Indonesia during our first launch in 2016 summer-spring season. On 3rd of June 2016, we launched our batik motif collection product, and it comprises of all these traditional batik motifs of parang, of buketan, sawat, kawung, among others, that were adopted in the collection as specially designed and collaborated with Bapak Komar of Komar Batik from Bandung at that time. He was also one of the members of Yayasan Batik Indonesia. The collection was produced in the form of men and women tops, women's dress, and also tunic, and also mean short and long sleeves, which we produced using the print technique. So these motifs are processed in such a way as to accommodate the infusion of modern elements and UNIQLO's universal character. These modifications includes the elements of colors, the composition of the ornaments, and also design adjustments, so that at that time, 10 batik motifs were able to be created, which were later on being produced into UNIQLO Lifewear collection, using 9 original Indonesian motifs and also 1 acculturated motif, namely the arabesque motif. So seeing all this potential, UNIQLO Global decided to make the batik motif collection as a product of global item. So other countries, which we have business presence, was also given the opportunity to also sell it in their own market. So as an impact, the batik collection was launched in other countries as printed shirts. So at that time, we expand the market and we sold in a total of 13 markets in US, in Hawaii, in UK, French, China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, Korea, Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand. And to continue with this initiative, in 2017, we would like to enhance the communication in the sales floor and other marketing channels to our customers. So we explore other collaboration as well to boost the collection. And in 2017, we engaged with batik designer named Bayu Sumarlono, the founder of Popular Batik, as the added value for our batik motif collection to be offered to the market. Bayu Sumarlono was known for his strong batik design principles in his work, and we see that Bayu is having the same vision of elevating batik to global market as well, same like UNIQLO. And also, Bayu was also very adamant in promoting the sustainable living concept in his work. He also used sustainable materials such as organic cotton, so it has less water consumption compared to cotton as natural fiber. Also, as marketing strategy, in UNIQLO, we deploy this batik motif collection every Hari Raya season because this is the highest sales performance season in UNIQLO. Also, the result that came from that marketing strategy turned out to be great, so we continue in doing so. Also, as a sustainable company, the proceeds that we gain from our batik motif collection, we use it to support our program called Empowering Workers for Life, where from this purchase, some of the proceeds is being donated to help support the people who make our clothing through education and awareness program. So we give them skills such as managing personal health to help empower them, these garment factory workers in Indonesia and also in other countries. Next slide, please. Also on the learning and the challenge, maybe go to the next slide. Next slide. Okay. Actually, as to date, we learned that the sales is still most appropriate, focusing on Asian market basically, especially, of course, Indonesia and Malaysia. This is due to the highly relevant culture. And as a brand, we're still thinking to actually develop and innovate what we can actually apply to the product to find the right formula to be more relevant to the international market. So we are currently still exploring further the type of motif that is best used, and also the size, the scale of the motif, the color composition. And I think also one of the things that UNIQLO will start to basically explore more is the form of market education on how we can best introduce or advocate batik as our Indonesian heritage that can be accepted by international market. And we also need to keep our options open, and still is basically for local collaboration, because we are hoping that in the future, we may be able to introduce a more variety of batik collection, which are inspired by local traditions. And we also would seek further collaboration with more local traditional batik craftsmen. We are actually truly honored that as a global brand, we have the opportunity to introduce our batik motif collection to global market, and as to date, making it part of our festive season collection every year. So we hope to improve this effort and further expand the market again in the future. So thank you so much, Pak George. With this, I would like to end my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Irma, and a very interesting presentation, and in which you have pretty much branded batik, and also making it as a lifewear, if I noticed in the presentation. Yeah. So that's very good. Thank you very much. Thank you, UNIQLO.
Thank you.
And so now we have our next speaker. She is the CEO and Director of Retail of PT Sarinah since 2021, so just very recently. And she is the Central Executive Board in International Area of HIPINDO, which is the Himpunan Penyewa Pusat Perbelanjaan Indonesia. Yeah? So for department stores, Association of Department Stores. So we have with us Ibu Fetty Kwartati, the CEO of PT Sarinah, joining us today. And Ibu Fetty, we give the Zoom floor to you to share your thoughts on the opportunities for batik, especially the strategy of how to explore and market this very cultural heritage of ours towards the millennial generation. Ibu Fetty, the Zoom floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, George. Good afternoon, Bapak Ibu, yang terhormat Gusti Kanjeng Ratu Hemas, Kanjeng Gusti Bedoro Raden Ayu, yang terhormat Bapak Gatot s.id, yang terhormat Mr. Edric Long, Pak Dardi Bustami, dan Ibu Irma, Yunita, and everyone in the Zoom meeting that present for this amazing event. Thank you so much for inviting me to the sharing session about batik. Like George mentioned, I just joined Sarinah 1 year ago as a retail director and become the CEO of Sarinah. Previously, I worked for Mitra Adi Perkasa for almost 16 years. And now I want to introduce Sarinah as the new ecosystem for UMKM or the SME local Indonesian product, because Sarinah is one of the BUMN or state-owned enterprise who has the role to create the excellence of the SME become better and better, and the opportunity for the SME to go global. So today the agenda is very matching with our transformation, because for the last 1 year, Sarinah has been doing the transformation, not only in terms of the building renovation, but also we revisit the concept of business, the product and the tenant selection, and also the rebranding of Sarinah through the new communication strategy, as well as all the infrastructure that needs the needs for the company to transform. So before we go into detail, I would like to introduce the new Sarinah to every one of you to see how the Sarinah building look like, the concept business, and also the ambience of Sarinah, where we are going to launch the first quarter of next year. So almost ready, but we just need to fix all the detail and be ready to open for public in March next year. So please enjoy the short video about the new Sarinah after transformation.
Saat gagasan pendirian Sarinah dicetuskan pada tahun 1962, Bung Karno ingin banyak membuat mercusuar kebangkitan bangsa Indonesia. Sarinah adalah bentuk perwujudan dari kebangkitan ekonomi kerakyatan menuju modernisasi dan internasionalisme. Nama Sarinah diambil dari pengasuh Soekarno pada masa kecil. Sarinah selalu mengingatkan Karno kecil untuk menghormati dan menyayangi semua orang. Pembangunan gedung Sarinah selesai pada tahun 1966. Sarinah menjelma menjadi sebuah department store atau retail termodern di Asia Tenggara dan gedung pencakar langit tertinggi di Indonesia. Pada era ini, mulailah kegiatan perdagangan usaha rakyat dan produk khas Indonesia mendapatkan panggung dan etalase produk khas Nusantara yang unggul dan Sarinah menjadi destinasi kunjungan wisatawan dalam dan luar negeri. Dari masa ke masa, Sarinah menjadi saksi dari perkembangan Indonesia. Sarinah melihat bagaimana masyarakat bertumbuh dan beradaptasi melalui segala tantangan yang hadir. Sarinah terus menjadi sentra aktivitas bagi masyarakat untuk memasarkan inovasi dan produk dalam negeri di jantung ibu kota. Visi ini akan diraih dengan cara antara lain mengkurasi produk yang akan dipamerkan dan dijual di Sarinah, memberi kesempatan seluas-luasnya kepada pelaku UMKM perempuan, mengembangkan ekosistem digital, menggalakkan ekspor dan membuka toko bebas bea di Sarinah Tamrin, beberapa bandara internasional di Indonesia dan kota-kota besar pilihan di dunia, melalui kerjasama dengan Dufry, perusahaan duty free ternama dunia yang bermarkas di Swiss. Sarinah yang kini mengadopsi slogan Panggung Karya Indonesia akan fokus pada pemberian kesempatan untuk kreasi unggulan Nusantara dan menuntun mereka untuk naik kelas sehingga mampu bersaing di pasar global. Pada akhirnya, Sarinah disiapkan sebagai pusat produk ikonik Indonesia dan menjadi punggawa nation brand. Lokasi Sarinah sangat strategis di jantung ibu kota, dikelilingi oleh gedung-gedung pemerintahan, perkantoran, tempat hiburan elit, serta didukung infrastruktur transportasi umum yang memudahkan masyarakat untuk mengakses lokasi Sarinah. Dengan pertumbuhan kota Jakarta, Sarinah menjadi pusat pengembangan kota yang dikenal dengan transit-oriented development. Transformasi Sarinah adalah sebuah momen yang dinanti-nantikan masyarakat Indonesia. Sebuah pusat perbelanjaan yang didesain untuk memberikan ruang bagi produk dalam negeri yang telah dikurasi. Pemugaran gedungnya tetap menjaga kelestarian aspek cagar budayanya, namun interior, fasilitas, dan pengalaman berbelanja akan disesuaikan dengan perilaku konsumen masa kini dan masa depan. Sarinah diharapkan menjadi destinasi wajib kunjung bagi wisatawan dalam dan luar negeri. Ruang rumah Sarinah terbagi menjadi 8 buah segmen lantai. Masing-masing ruang tersebut kami beri nama antara lain Pasar Nusantara, Pusaka, Untayan, Kreasi, Hayat, House of Sarinah, Cakrawala, dan Tanah Nusa. Pasar Nusantara terletak di lantai basement. Di area ini terdapat retail dan kuliner berbasis warisan Indonesia dengan sentuhan modern. Sarinah menjadi tempat melting pot untuk segala kuliner Indonesia, jajanan pasar, kitchenware khas Indonesia, pusat oleh-oleh, dan juga swalayan dengan sentuhan lokal. Pusaka yang terletak di lantai dasar akan menjadi titik penyambutan para pengunjung Sarinah yang didesain untuk menjadi portal warisan busana dan gaya hidup Indonesia. Menampilkan window display yang dibuat seniman instalasi Indonesia, memberikan edukasi mengenai berbagai pakaian tradisional seperti kebaya, batik, perhiasan tradisional, dan menjadi wadah kebanggaan heritage Nusantara. Untayan hadir di lantai 1 konsep baru Sarinah. Di lantai ini, para pengunjung dapat menemukan curated brands Indonesia, mulai dari busana hingga destinasi kuliner yang terjangkau. Suguhan tenan Indonesian Heritage yang affordable, cross kategori, retail area diutamakan untuk busana perempuan dan laki-laki, dengan tenan F&B yang merupakan bisnis restoran lokal yang menyajikan sajian kuliner Nusantara. Kami juga mendorong produsen lokal kontemporer untuk memiliki showcase di gedung Sarinah Tamrin. Kreasi yang terletak di lantai 2 adalah area yang didedikasikan untuk tenan lokal kontemporer yang affordable cross kategori. Tenan yang dipilih merupakan tenan yang memiliki kreativitas, cita rasa autentik dan inovatif. kualitas produk tidak kalah dengan brand-brand internasional. Hayat yang terletak di lantai 3 merupakan retail area yang difokuskan untuk homeware dan home decor, serta arts and craft. Outdoor area akan digunakan sebagai open air dining and bar, serta event space untuk kegiatan musik, teater, film, dan berbagai kegiatan lainnya. Di lantai 4 kita dapat menemukan House of Sarinah, lantai khusus duty free yang akan dikerjasamakan dengan Dufree. Cakrawala di lantai 5 akan menjadi panggung showcase dari produsen lokal kontemporer kreatif dan inovatif dengan harga terjangkau dan silang kategori. Tenan yang dipilih merupakan tenan kualitas produk tidak kalah dengan brand-brand internasional. Cakrawala menjadi sentra pertemuan dengan mitra internasional dan UMKM. Sarinah adalah sentra kultural dan panggung yang akan mengkurasi performa terbaik dari portofolio kultur Indonesia. Tanah Nusa yang berada di lantai 6 didedikasikan untuk pengunjung lokal dan mancanegara dengan menampilkan ikon heritage and cultural experience, seni, budaya, dan serta wadah pengembangan UMKM. Tidak hanya hadir sebagai pusat perbelanjaan, Sarinah juga memberikan ruang bagi masyarakat untuk berkarya, berjejaring, dan berkolaborasi. Melalui konsep community mall, Sarinah memberikan ruang publik yang memiliki elemen historical, urban linkages, urban forest, serta urban living. Kami ingin mengajak Anda untuk menjadi bagian dari semangat baru Sarinah, semangat yang diwariskan oleh para pendiri bangsa untuk bisa menjadikan Indonesia menjadi salah satu sentral ekonomi dunia. Bersama, mari kita tunjukkan kekayaan karya Nusantara kepada dunia. Sarinah, panggung karya Indonesia.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I continue a little bit more on the explanation. As you can see in the video that Sarinah focus a lot on the local product and also the UMKM or the SME product. Even we have our vision statement that we nurture the SME excellence as our tagline, Sarinah Panggung Karya Indonesia. So we pretty much want to have Indonesian product go to the next level, and they have all the stage in Sarinah. Of course, it will be through the curation process, but it's open for everyone. So it's exclusive. It's an inclusive stage for everyone with a very good product. Next. So Sarinah became the first department store in Indonesia, and at the same time also the first retail modern in Indonesia back in 1966, and so far it's become the center of the UMKM product. And if you are talking about batik today, it's very memorable for Sarinah because everyone will remember that if they want to look for batik, where to go, they go to Sarinah. And it's been long time ago become that kind of images. But of course, with the transformation, we improved a little bit, or we modified all the concept, but still carry a lot of traditional product like batik. So with Sarinah as the pioneer in modern retail store in Indonesia, we want to continue become the leading aggregator or ecosystem for domestic market and also global market for the UMKM product. Next. As you see from the building, from the surrounding, and from the location itself, it's a very strategic location right in the center of Jakarta. So Sarinah became the iconic Indonesia fashion brand and also a creative interchange and ideation forum. So we will have the food and beverage, fashion, art and craft, home decor, and also the cultural event, including the duty-free shop, where batik will be quite dominant section because we have a lot of product from batik, not only from fashion, but to the home decor. You can also bring that to Sarinah. Next. Sarinah, because they're the only one department store or modern retail that is really supporting the local product. So I would say all the product in Sarinah is local product. So Sarinah, we want to become the destination, destiny and nation. So destiny, because this is a part of the countries, part of the government, and also we want to have Sarinah is perceived by, as the nation brand. Yeah, next. So now talking about specific on Batik. So what can Sarinah do to promote Batik from the marketability, internationality, and also sustainability? Okay, thanks. So we have already put the spirit of Batik itself in our building. As you can see now, it's almost done. It's 95% already, and you can see the facade itself, which cover the building. The motif, it comes from Batik, Sido Mukti Batik, because we want to use the philosophy of Sido Mukti in our daily life, and it represented through the facade of the building itself. And also inside the building, inside the department store, a lot of traditional product or original product from Indonesia. We want to bring the value or the message from those traditional products. Next. Okay, and then in this case, because Sarinah is the stage of the excellent product of Indonesia, so we can create some kind of contest or award to the designer to create appealing classic and contemporary batik creation for younger generation. As mentioned by Mr. Edric, by Ibu Irma, that millennial now see batik and they like to see batik differently, not only as a dress for a wedding reception or for formal meeting, but we can see batik as a very fun and very casual outfit, and it can be also as a movement. So for example, we now already have Bangga Buatan Indonesia program, and batik is one of the product that is including in that program. Next. Okay, and then we see the young generation, how we change the young generation perspective towards batik. So beside the occasion that is using batik, and we also want to bring batik with the philosophy and also with the message. If you know how to make batik, especially the very complicated one, we can have the idea of how difficult and how dedicated the person towards that craft or that art. Yeah? So we want to use that with the storytelling about batik itself. Next. So we want to also create a movement for young generation through social media, of course. Social media has been very productive to communicate our message. So we can have the campaign batik in an interactive way, yeah? And also we can inspire with a lot of batik storyteller. So we have 1,000 or more about the design and also the philosophy behind that. So we want to have the youth understand batik's culture, history, the philosophy as the Indonesian identity. Next. And of course, we also want to have our craftsmanship of batik become they can go to the next level. So we provide a learning, sharing, and also collaborating platform for young batik designer to advance their work or their product. So through the Sarinah Culture Zone, to the Batik Workshop, and also to Sarinah Future Plan, like interactive museum. And in this case, we can collaborate with BRI because they have million UMKM that has been done with the capacity building, and we can see the product now is a very nice one. Next. So besides doing business and also all this activity, so we want to also do the CSR. We call it Sarinah Pandu, and pretty much this is the capacity building from Sarinah towards the UMKM to bring or to go to the next level. So Sarinah Pandu with ASIH, ASAH, and ASUH value, and this is collaborated by many institutions like another SOE, and also we can collaborate with private sector to do more capacity building towards the batik worker or batik maker. Next. Yeah, we have been able to work and get the collaboration with Dufry, the global player for duty-free from Swiss, and we are going to have the duty-free shop in Jakarta, in Sarinah building, and also in Bali airport. So this is another platform that a batik maker can use to display or to introduce their product to Sarinah platform. Yeah. Beside the duty-free, we also have the e-commerce platform. It's called Sarinah Mall or Sarinah Official Store. They can also be used to get the access to the market for all the batik maker. Next. So basically, Sarinah can be the A to Z national batik producer, and then we curate the quality batik brand, and then we can put the product in the offline store, in the online store, in duty-free shop, and also in our trading house. And then last but not least, we can bring this product to go overseas, because Sarinah is planning to have the Sarinah international business by opening Sarinah in other countries. So Sarinah become the locomotive that bring every product which already eligible and meet all the curation criteria to go globally. Okay, next. Yeah, that's pretty much about how Sarinah can give some contribution to the batik Indonesian maker or overall to the UMKM world, how to go and become the player who can get the ability to compete with globally. Okay, I think that's from my side. Yeah, thank you so much. And of course, Sarinah cannot do alone, so we expect to have all the collaboration from everyone here, how to get more contribution for everyone in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Fetty. Yes, Sarinah, obviously a big brand in Indonesia with a lot of history. And I like your term, destination, yeah? Destiny and nation. So
Yes.
hopefully the destiny of our batik will be empowered by Sarinah, and also to empower the national heritage. So thank you, Ibu Fetty. And now we're going to start coming into question and answers. But I want to invite Dr. Ayu Cornelia, who is joining us today as my co-moderator. And before I share the questions and to the panelists here, I'd like to, there's about 10 questions actually. So we have a lot of questions to you all. But I'd like to have Dr. Ayu Cornelia make some comments first, as in, you know, she is an expert also in communications and in terms of cultural heritage and also communication. So, Dr. Ayu Cornelia, may
yes,
you
thank you, Iwan. Yeah,
comments,
it's a very insightful topics to discuss for this afternoon. And yeah, I highlight some of the interesting topics from the speakers, from Mr. Edric Ong. How about we maintain and sustain the legacy batik as national identity. Is that right, Iwan? Yeah. So we have to maintain and sustain, adapt also with the Muslim clothes, etc. And then from Ibu Maria Irma, I'm actually one of your fans, Ibu, for UNIQLO Lifewear. It's interesting to have batik to be the design and also the use for daily wear. Yeah, I'm sure that people will love to buy and to wear it, especially in Indonesia. And also improve the trend of batik for daily wear globally. As I like your tagline anyway. It's global is local and local is global. Wow! So we have to really maintain and sustain the locality to be global. And Ibu Fetty, thank you for providing such a very impressive information that Sarinah could be like a facilitator to have synergy for amongst those artisans or producer for batik to get along together to improve the brand identity. I think that's all, Iwan. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
That's very insightful, Dr. Ayu Cornelia, on your comments regarding the topic that was discussed here today by our panelists. And now we're going to move to some questions for the panelists.
We have a lot of questions.
We have a lot of questions, and there's about 10 questions, and I'm going to kick off because we've got people from around the world joining. First of all, from Sweden now has joined, from Stockholm, Mr. Martin Jacobson, the CEO of Supertex.
Wow.
He doesn't have a question, but he says, "Go Jogja Batik." And
Yay!
All right, yeah. And
hello, Sweden. How are you today?
Yeah, hello, Sweden. Hello, Sweden. So, and he's wearing a batik, I noticed himself. So, thank you, Martin Jacobson, the CEO of Supertex, for supporting and promoting Jogja Batik in Stockholm, Sweden. So we have several questions. I'm going to begin with our international audience, and they've sent out some questions out here. We have, first of all, from Lithuania, from Vilnius, Lithuania. And the question is, her name is Vita Stankaitiene. And the question is, as the president of the Lithuanian-Indonesian Chamber of Business, how would I go about to introduce batik and promote batik in the Baltic markets? So now we're talking Baltics, the Baltics, which is Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. So a new market region for Indonesian creative economy and crafts and batik in this case. So that's the first question. The second question is representing Barcelona Catalan. Barcelona Catalan from Maria Satu, from representing Barcelona Catalan. The question is, the form of the classic batik motif, what is the ones that you would like to preserve and adapt to the Western Occidental fashion? Also, which kind of patterns and garments can be matched with the Western Occidental pret-a-porter? Yeah, so those are two questions. And then I'll go with the third question is from Yogyakarta, from Miftah, Miftah Yogyakarta. So this is now, so you've got Vilnius, Lithuania, you've got Barcelona, Catalan, and now you have Miftah from Yogyakarta. And that is in the era of 5.0, which everything is limited in terms of the challenges of changes, and everything is very instant and sometimes very uncertain. How can, this is very interesting, how can the Kraton Batik, so this is now the palace here, how can the Kraton Batik adapt, and especially with various patterns of batik that are surfacing globally? Yeah, so that is a very interesting question. So we have three questions here. We'll start off with three questions.
Yes, and I think we just have to direct to which questions we'll answer.
Yes. Yes. Well, obviously, I'm going to give the floor to the three of you because you can all comment. But I think there are some very interesting questions, and it relates to pattern and design. Yeah. So obviously, Pa Edric, you're an expert in that. But I'm going to give also Ibu Irma and Ibu Fetty the chance to respond. So those are the three questions. I think very substantive questions. Yeah. So please, go ahead.
Yes. Okay, let me kick off the the answer. First of all, I think we have to be very careful on what we mean by batik. Batik is the process of using wax to create the resist to make the pattern. Whereas batik design, which sometimes people say batik design, is actually a print, and it doesn't involve so much of a hand crafting technique. So when you talk about what batik you want to promote in the Baltic nations, for example, we're talking about a textile design which will usually be made on cotton or silk, and this would be material which is more for summer fashion, right? And if you're thinking about extending the range of batik into other textiles like wool, then it's a different ballgame altogether on how you would actually apply the wax onto a piece of wool, because with hot dyeing, then the woolen material would usually shrink. So it's a different ballgame about dealing with fashion for summer, for winter, and they have different seasons. Of course, the good thing about having seasonal fashion is the fact that it changes every season. So you have a changing market, and therefore people would buy for spring, for summer, for winter, for autumn, right? So I think that we have to be understanding of, one, a different climate, two, a different taste, because the Baltic nation taste of color, of motifs would be different from what we have here in the tropics. Thank you.
Yes, and how about the issue of fashion from Barcelona? The question coming in from for the Spanish market. How would you respond to that?
I would say that the Spanish taste for fashion is very vibrant and is closer to what we have here in the ASEAN countries. When you look at Barcelona Fashion Week or the Spanish Fashion Weeks and all that, you can see that they have gusto. They want to express themselves in color and in design and in motifs. So I think we have a better chance of targeting the Spanish market, than to target the temperate countries in the north. That's my own opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Edric. Thank you. So now I'm going to go to Bu Irma, but could the organizers flip the question for UNIQLO, yeah? Yeah, for UNIQLO, could you flip the question for UNIQLO? Yeah. Okay. So, Ibu Irma, you can answer also those questions, but there's a specific question for you, Ibu Irma, from Bapak Gatot Saptali. And that's
who's actually the chairperson of Jogja International Batik Biennale.
Okay. So the question is, can UNIQLO be involved in the marketing of the batik products
through the management,
through your business and through your system? That's the question for you. And also, if you want to answer the issues on the Baltic markets and the Spanish markets, please go do so.
Thank you, Pak George. I think let me first answer the question about how we are actually in our sustainability activities try to also market and promote batik. I also see some of the questions actually about how we also support the green business, basically green economy in Indonesia. So happy to actually share that as part of our sustainability activities in Indonesia, we from time to time has always also tried to enroll programs which we also help the local small medium enterprises where we open our local business, and this comprises not just of course batik craftsmanship, but all forms of traditional craftsmanship provided by our local SMEs to also basically improve the marketability and as well as the competitiveness. Yeah. So I think basically if we are to discuss about sustainability, how we providing products that is sustainable, that is environmental friendly, for example, being one of the example. I think we have to go back first to educating this local market, this local SME as well, for example. So in doing so, we have from time to time actually also enroll training programs. I saw in Sarinah, Ibu Fetty also have a similar program, which basically increasing the capability and also the awareness, for our local SME to also understand how to basically market their product better, how to provide a better branding for their product, as well as actually to teach about environmental impact and how they as a business also needs to be made aware of better ways of producing their products, and hence basically turning them into a more sustainable local business. So this is something that we strive on and continue to basically do from time to time whenever we open our business across Indonesia. So we are happy to continue to do so, basically, Pak George, and always open for potential collaborations where UNIQLO can basically support this local business in these initiatives. The second question basically related to marketing the batik market in the global level. So as I shared earlier in my presentation as well, Pak George, it's for UNIQLO as well. It is something that actually still something that we have big homework to. Echoing Pak Edric's remarks earlier, I actually very much agree that we actually in UNIQLO, we sell this only in festive season. So the collection is more like a vibrant color, or more like a summer, spring type of vibes. And it's actually really true that when we have this type of collection, when we sell it to other markets, especially in the countries where have 4 seasons, we actually need to very, very much be careful and also be able to translate that into something that is more relevant in terms of color composition and the motifs, the type of things that we can introduce to the collection itself. So I fully agree with what Pak Edric actually mentioned earlier. That is something that we also as a business still continue to try to innovate and find the best form that we can apply to our global collection. Thank you, Pak George. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Bu Irma. So obviously UNIQLO is a global company, and so the opportunity obviously is there, to utilize the channel,
Yes,
the
definitely.
global channel of UNIQLO. That's very good, very good. So now we're going to go to Ibu Fetty, and there's questions related to Sarinah. Can the organizers again flip those questions so we can see them?
The previous questions, you mean?
Yeah,
previous questions for
the
Ibu
previous
Fetty.
questions for Ibu Fetty. Yeah. Could you flip it? Yeah.
Okay.
Sarinah. Yeah.
Only one, just one yang tadi. Yeah. It's talking about how Batik of Jogja could be in Sarinah.
Yeah. So this is a very good question actually from Richard de Vretes. He's from the Netherlands. He's coming in from the Netherlands. And he's asking, do you think it is possible for Sarinah to cooperate with the quality department store De Bijenkorf here in the Netherlands for quality batik products? There are approximately 500,000 for Indonesian people here, and they are very interested. So diaspora, So there's a diaspora market around the world, including in the Netherlands. So this is what this question is referring to. But I think another substance of the question is, does Sarinah also push export abroad into channels abroad for our creative economy products such as batik? So that is the broader question in terms of the essence of this question. So, and also Ibu Fetty, if you want to comment on the previous questions, feel free to. But this question is specific to you, and I think that's a strategic question to ask. Yeah. Please, Ibu Fetty. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the question. I would like to address or respond to those questions which are quite similar in terms of the response. It's very fortunate that batik in Indonesia has hundreds of design, hundreds of colors. So it makes batik very possible to go everywhere. If you are talking about Baltics country or Barcelona or Asian country, we can choose the suitable design or the suitable color because batik can match with the festive season. For example, summer we can choose batik Cirebon, or for example, or batik Pekalongan, which is more colorful. But during fall winter, for example, is more dark, so we can go for batik Sogan or batik from Solo, something like that. Or if we want to also have bright color, we can have Jambi batik. So it's very fortunate as Indonesia has many design and also colors. And what I would like to mention here, so we have to sell a batik not only as a product, but it has to be beyond product. So it has to be the experience. We can easily have the storytelling about that batik. So it will make more engagement to the customer, not only buying the summer clothes with all the flower and colorful design, but what is behind the story of that batik. So now everything has to come with the traceability, where we can have more information about that. And then the second question, the collaboration with the department store in the Netherlands, is it possible or not? And the answer is very possible. In fact, we are looking for partners to collaborate throughout the world, globally, where we can promote the Indonesian product. Name it batik, tenun, or other traditional or heritage product. So Sarinah in this case become the locomotive, and then we will bring all the product, including the batik and also some other traditional heritage of Indonesia. So it's very possible. And in fact, you can see from the video also that one of the business pillar in Sarinah is our export-import business, which is more to export, because we used to have a lot of import, but now no longer become our focus. Instead, we have to focus more to export. So that's why in Sarinah building in Jakarta, we have what we call trading house. This is the place where the international buyer will meet the producer or the maker, and then become the transaction with B2B transaction. So it's very possible that Sarinah will have the export orientation. And then I saw also on the chat, maybe I can address, there's some question asking about what is asah, asih, and asuh means. This is traditional philosophy or word, if I may say. Basically, with Sarinah Pandu, we want to asah. Asah means teach, so stimulating the potential of SME. And then asih means love, how we nurture them with private attention. We provide attention to the SME to enhance their product. And then asuh means caring, so fulfilling the needs of SME. So with this approach, asah, asuh, and asih, we want to bring all the SME to the next level with those values. And it's very it's a very holistic approach when it comes to how to give the capacity building to the SME product. I think it's quite there for me, George. If hopefully it answers also. Thank you.
Thank you. So just one comment. So Sarinah is also doing export trading now, for our crafts. Very good. And moving into regions around the world?
Yeah, so we are now having the partnership with Dufry, for example, so Sarinah can have the Indonesian corner in their duty-free shop around the world. So that's one of the collaboration that we have with Dufry as a duty-free player.
Very good. Thank you, Ibu Fetty. Very creative. So bringing Indonesian products globally, especially the crafts and products such as batik. Yeah. So thank you very much, Ibu Fetty. So now I'm going to allow my co-moderator to
specifically there's
take over
one more question, Pak George. Ibu Fetty, how is like a producer batik in Jogja wants to collaborate with Sarinah? Is there any certain procedures that we should contact to somebody or who? Ibu, please kindly advise.
Yeah, so we are now doing the curation for our shops, which will be open in March next year. So we are in the final stage of the curation process. As we have more than 2,000 brands wants to join in, so we do the curation. So for that batik from Jogja, they can register, and then we can select the product, and then we have a few platforms. So for example, if it's not selected in the offline store, this product can go to online store and can go to a trading house, to duty-free shop, or to our event. We will do a lot of pop-up store and bazaar event because we have to accommodate as many as makers from Indonesia. As Sarinah become the Panggung Karya Indonesia, so we have to give everyone a chance to display and promote their product.
Yeah, thank you, Ibu, for the explanation. It's very interesting, Pak George, where batik beyond production. Yeah, so we should have more about storytelling, engagement, and we're talking about millennials. Yeah, so we're talking about digitalization. Yeah, and thank you for explanation, Ibu. Let me go to the next question for Ibu Irma. Is there any for Ibu Irma for UNIQLO? Yeah. Ibu Irma, this is a question from Anastasia. As representative of big fast fashion company here, how do you think we can rethink the process of making batik garments in order to go more eco-friendly? I think you mentioned that a little bit before about that you're concerned about the green tea, eco-friendly, and less wastage can be produced during the creation process. As millennial, she is always thinking of more sustainable ways of production. Please advise, Ibu.
Thank you. So yeah, basically, if I also may share a bit, as a company itself, UNIQLO, in the global level, we produce our product as well doing all the sustainability mechanism and process. Like for example, for jeans, we have the waterless jeans where compared to other usual jeans, we only produce it with just 1 cup of water. Compared to the normal jeans, which can consume up to 7,000 liters of water per piece. Yeah. So all of those type of basically sustainability innovations is something that we can always share and actually extend to generations and make that part of as our education as well. So referring to that question, if later on it's something that maybe Jogja thinks something that you need UNIQLO to also help, we are more than happy as well to have and maybe in coordination with the local craft office in Yogyakarta to hold like a knowledge transfer or knowledge sharing session in terms of how we can better educate and share the best practices from our side that might be hopefully insightful and also can be inspiring. Because again, specific for batik, we don't have yet, but of course, we are more than happy to share what we have done as a business with all of these innovations related to our sustainability in producing our product. So yes, happy to help and have that conversation as well.
Okay. Thank you, Ibu Irma. So I think I give to Mr. Pak George.
Yes, we're going to have another round. So we still have one more round of questions, and there's a lot of questions coming out. But Her Majesty, the Queen, Gusti Kanjeng Ratu Hemas, sends her greetings to everyone. She asked permission to be excused because of another event she's joining. So, but we thank her, Your Majesty, Queen Gusti Kanjeng Ratu Hemas, for joining us today. So now we have the last round of questions, and because there's a lot of questions coming in. Can we look at, okay, from Nadia, Yogyakarta. Okay, so from around the world back to Yogyakarta now. So, hello, I'm Nadia. I'm come from Yogyakarta. I want to ask some questions to Mr. Edric Ong. This is for you, Pa Edric. First, how is the interest for millennial generation or young people abroad, especially in Southeast Asia today, towards Batik? Are they interested in using Batik as a daily clothing? And what kind of patterns and models are most in demand by millennial generation? So again, it gets back to the question, is Batik popular for millennials, and in this case, in Southeast Asia? Edric, please.
I think it all begins at home in Indonesia, being the most populous nation among the ASEAN countries. So it's been a good thing that you have your National Batik Day. And so Batik is being promoted nationally. It's part of your political agenda. As in Malaysia, we also do promote our Malaysian Batik, but as you will be aware, the Malaysian Batik has a different color range palette than the Indonesian, all right? So it's a different taste, if you like. And the way in which Malaysian Batik is produced is more like the Japanese yuzen, which is actually the dyes are brushed on to the stretched fabric to create the patterns with wax just to be outlining the big motifs. And in Thailand, it's the southern Thailand which makes batik, and they do the batik block very successfully. And in the Philippines, it is also in the south, but I believe that a lot of the southern Philippines, they actually buy the batik from other islands of Indonesia and keeps it as part of their apparel, especially for the sarongs. So for the millennials, you're talking about whether they are millennials in the urban areas or in the rural settings. If it's in the rural settings, batik sarongs are still being used by anybody who wants to go into the river and take a bath, because it is something which is very practical to use as a tube when you go into the stream to take your bath, right? In the southern Philippines or in the rural Sarawak or in the rural southern Thailand. But when it comes to the city millennials, the city millennials then, as I said in my sharing, they're very up to date with what is current fashion. So they're up to date with what is the trend, the color trends, and the styling of the garment. So as I said also, there is that segment of Malaysian, Indonesian, Southern Thai, Southern Philippines, who are very Muslim in their attire. So we call it modest wear, if you like. And so when you're talking about targeting the millennials who are conscious about Muslima or modest wear, then we are talking about what is the kind of patterns and colors that appeal to them, right? Sometimes we forget that there's this category, but this is a growing category of Muslima modest wear millennials that is in our Asian society. It's growing. And so therefore, we are also talking, maybe when we're talking about export, we have to think also about our friends in the Arab nations, in Saudi, in Dubai, and all that, who are also the people who would be part of this modest wear category of millennials. So that's what I want to say, that there is a difference in taste from nation to nation subtly, but we have to be conscious if we want to target them as the consumer of our batik. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Edric. So very interesting. It really is related to marketing, yeah, marketing and how to capture the demand side, yeah, and adjust to it. Yeah. So it was very interesting, Pak Edric. May I ask, Pak Edric, what batik are you wearing right now? As a designer, you're probably
I have
much more
actually specially chosen this vintage Iwan Terta.
Wow, beautiful.
Wow, that's amazing.
No wonder.
And painter.
That's very nice, Pak Edric. Yes.
I met the late artist in his studio in the 1990s because he had come to Malaysia to a batik seminar that my friend organized. So we became friends and I went to his studio and this was what I bought. And I still treasure it after all these years.
Yes, very interesting.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So I think there's a special question. My co-moderator, Dr. Ayu Cornelia, maybe you can ask that question because there will be also a special guest to answer.
Yes.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will have special guest to answer after this. Because before Pak George was asking Mr. Edric about the pattern of the batik, and maybe some people are actually questioning what batik is, what kind of pattern is considered as batik and which one is not. Like, for example, in UNIQLO it's more modern, and in Sarinah and kind of that. Okay, so there's question about philosophy. Okay, later. So there's question from Surabaya, if I'm not mistaken, talking about from Farida Surabaya. Can you help for the committee, please? Yes, from Farida. Okay, Ibu Fetty, the question is to you now. About the stand in Sarinah, is the batik providing the printing or handmade or how? And how is the customer convinced that this is real batik or not, Ibu? Can you explain that a little bit? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, as I mentioned that Sarinah wants to improve the level of the batik makers. So we only accept batik with a handmade or stamp, so not printing. So we don't carry a printing product because the printing product, it's not called batik, but it's a design or textile motif batik. And how can the customer how to convince the customer where this is real batik? So through the Sarinah Pandu program, we also nurture our sales staff to understand about the product itself. So they have to understand which one is the batik cap, which one is batik tulis, and so on. So they have to confidently explain to the customer. And we encourage more and more for the batik maker to have the what we call it haki. Once they have brand, they can register the brand, so they can claim the product or the brand or the design even. Because we want to lift them up to the next level by giving the authenticity, the traceability, and also, of course, the quality of the product.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Fetty. There's another one, questions, but can you go to the 9 maybe, number 9? Yeah. Okay, I think this is already answered by Ibu Irma before, Pak George, talking about green business, yeah. But maybe Pak Bu Fetty, do you wanna give another explanation about is Sarinah also applying this for your business about green business?
Yeah. We, in fact, I am so happy to have Ibu Irma here because we come from the same purpose, how to have this product sustainable here, not only can last longer, but how we can encourage the more responsible batik. More responsible batik here. We are talking about everything has to be related with the green economy or even the circular economy. So in Sarinah, we have the criteria of a few products, they have to be categorized as a slow fashion. So with slow fashion, we can even promote more beyond product. The explanation that I just mentioned, so it's beyond product. So it's about slow fashion. So we also participate or contribute to the world, to this planet, that we are not, for example, giving more damage or creating more homework in the future because of our act now. So we do put our mission as the company which strongly support the SDG. So this is already in our mission statement. So we will slowly towards that direction.
Okay. Thank you, Bu Fetty. So I shall pass to moderator again. We still have, I think, two or two questions.
Yes.
George?
Can the organizers flick the questions here? So this one is going to be very interesting question, and it relates to the philosophy of Batik and Kraton. Yeah. So I think we have a special question that's going to be answered by a special person.
Yeah, but now I think we can go to this question first.
Okay,
yes,
all right.
To
So
Irma.
we're waiting for the technical connection to get connected to that special person, I believe. But okay, this one's for Bu Irma. Bu Irma from Bayu Krishna Samarang. Okay, so how do you provide an understanding to the home industries, regarding batik, especially if it's related to sustainability, planet, people, profit, and how could you provide that understanding in terms of the green business for their industry? So the issue here is home industry, right? And home industry, how to convince those in that sector that sustainability is also, and you might say, profitable. Yeah. So this is a very good question, actually, and it is a real question. Yeah, it is a real question. So, I mean, you see it on the ground. So, Ibu Irma, this is a tough question. I'll give this one to you. Monggo, Ibu Irma, silakan. Yeah.
Thank you, Pak George. So basically, reiterating a bit of what I shared earlier. So, in doing our business, not just on a global level here in Indonesia, whenever we open our local business presence, we also always engage with the local community to basically advertise and advocate our sustainability ways of doing business through educations, workshop. So we also curated SME local products inside of our store. And aside from promoting, we are also enrolling education and training workshop programs for all these local SME. And as part of that, we are actually also conveying all the message about how fast retailing group as a global business is successful as a sustainable business. Because actually what we also see from the latest market trend, actually our consumer in UNIQLO is already a smart customer, Pak George. They are very much aware about, fashion industry actually having a very huge impact to the environment, and to advocate back that message to all of our consumer that as a business, we are very, very mindful in conducting all of these initiatives and innovations to basically promote a sustainable process in enrolling all of the production process in making our product is something that is very much appreciated by our consumers. So echoing that same message, actually, we also deploy and convey the same message to all of the local business, local SME that we have helped to educate and collaborate with. We tell them the same story, and we encourage them to also, at least in whatever minimum level that they can do, to start adopting the best ways of actually translating and also enrolling this good practice of conducting sustainable production. For example, in Solo, a couple of months ago, we also had our education session with our local SME. We educate them about sustainability. And on top of that, we are also giving them trainings on how to basically do and make a craftsmanship out of upcycle products. And actually making use of used product and turning that into a new product that is sellable. So aside from creating a new ability for them to have a new craftsmanship skills, they also have this new chance to basically gaining income from all these new skills. So that is something that we continue to explore and keep doing from time to time, Pak George.
Yeah, so very good. So what you're saying is that if you're talking about the millennial market, they want the sustainable products.
Yes,
that's what you're
definitely.
saying, right? Because and that's what the UNIQLO customers are about, right? Because you serve millennials, yeah. And I mean, I see in your store, I don't see a lot of Gen X. I see a lot of millennials. So good answer. That's a good answer. So for the home industries, cottage industries, it is actually the market demand, yeah. To produce sustainable batik, you might say. Yeah. So I guess Pak Edric wants to make a comment on that. So
yes,
please, Pak Edric. This is a very interesting question, actually. Yeah, go ahead, Pak.
No, I think the other thing that we have not been talking much about is talking about green batik. I think there is a growing awareness and a growing movement for using natural indigo in batik in Indonesia that I've seen. For example, in Jogja, there's Gallery Batik Jawa, who just uses natural indigo for their range of products. And I know that Walami, another NGO in Indonesia, headed by Mira Witiono, they are very conscious in training and promoting the use of natural dyes in batik. But the other aspect of green batik is the fact that now we should be also conscious about carbon footprint and sourcing of the raw material for making of the batik. That I'm happy to know that there are SMEs or textile companies in Indonesia which produces batik just for the batik makers. Using, for example, I know that there's lakumas using tencel fiber and cotton blended so that it is very nice texture to be used for batik as an alternative from imported material. So I think green batik should be the key for the future. Thank you.
Wow, green batik, and you mentioned carbon footprint. Maybe if we promote this, we can also get some carbon credit points, for the industry itself. Yeah, I mean, that's a very good, interesting approach, by Edric.
Yeah, because, the other word that everybody is now talking about is circular economy. Right. So we have to be conscious about what's happening and what's the in trend. And the millennials are all catching on to all these new words, circular economy, sustainability, green batik, so on. Thank you.
Yeah, so circular economy, green batik is the trend. That is the market demand. So I think that is the direction to take, yeah? And hopefully we can get some carbon credits out of that, right? For the industry itself, right? So, very good. So, and we have now a last question, yeah? And this is the last question. I'll give it to our co-moderator because it's all coming all the way from Russia.
From Russia, okay. Hello, Anna. Mrs. Fetty, Ibu Fetty, is Sarinah making an internship programs for foreigners who want to become a part of global batik community? It's a very interesting question. What do you think, Bu Fetty?
Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, because we want, as I said, we want to collaborate with everyone, including the internship participant, because we want to also start from the millennial. We know our target consumer will be millennial, and sooner or later, even though now they haven't visited Sarinah yet, but I believe with the concept and the approach that we use, our target market will be a lot of millennials. So please come, and we're looking forward to having her or him in Sarinah.
Great. So, Anna from Russia, your internship, you're welcome to join that internship. Yeah, from Russia.
It's very interesting to everybody to join the internship. Yeah.
Very good.
So we come to conclusion. Pak George, thank you so much for all the speakers. But before we close, maybe if there is any closing statement from all of you here. Pak Edric, can you give a closing statement, please?
I think that it is a wonderful initiative that Jogja International Batik Biennale is one of our foremost World Crafts Council craft cities to continue on their program of having this Biennale, right? And that they are living up to their status as a World Batik City. But what I would like to see happen is that maybe as Jogja takes the leading role to promote batik to the world, is that Jogja maybe even, as I mentioned earlier, as a nation which is very much in the forefront of promoting modest wear, maybe we should have a batik modest wear international festival online for the moment, but in time to come, when it is possible to do everything physical, that everybody can come in to take part in this international batik fashion festival. And maybe our friend from Sarinah, Ibu Fetty, you can be one of the main sponsors, and UNIQLO can bring your brand, and it will become something such a hip place to be showcasing batik to the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ibu Irma, your closing statement, please.
Thank you. So basically, representing UNIQLO again, I'm very much honored that in this occasion, we get to basically tell our story about how we can help to promote batik to a global brand and also global market. And as a retail fashion industry, UNIQLO also wants to basically inspire all of our other retailers as well, especially the global brands. So with this kind of initiative, I believe that we can help to basically elevate our batik to a more expansive market, specifically in the global market. We have so much very talented craftsmanship, local batik tradition that we can adopt, that we can introduce to our global market, and it's actually our dream to see that in the future we see more of this happening, not just from our brand, but we also see that from other global retailers itself. Okay. So let's make this come true.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Bu Fetty, last statement, please.
Okay, thank you so much. So for everyone, including all the batik makers, we have to be very confident as the traditional product, as the local brand, because we now have a lot of support from the government, from the society, that batik is one of the product keren Indonesia, and we have to keep promoting batik and give batik not only become product but beyond product, with all the storytelling, value, message, as well as the movement. So this is about movement, how we can have more makers and contribute more to the country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to have a conclusion. Before that, we'll have photo session. Photo session first? Yes, we'll have photo session. But maybe Pak George, you want to say something to all the audience, please?
Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Ayu Cornelia, and to all the panelists, Pak Edric Ong, Liang Bin, Ibu Maria, Irma, Yunita, Ardhiyanti, and Ibu Fetty Kwartati. It was an honor to join you all, and obviously thank you also to Her Majesty the Queen, Gusti Kanjeng Ratu Hemas, who joined us earlier today. And this is a very interesting topic, and I think the conclusion is also very unique, because we're moving into now what Edric just referred to as the green batik. And the market actually demands that if we are talking about millennials, so the whole conversation today is the millennial market. And the millennial market trends to that direction. So this is a unique and substantive, you might say, input into this conversation. And hopefully, the policymakers who are organizing this event today, the governments, could see that uniqueness, because you can link it into the whole environmental issue that's happening today, the whole concept of the environment, and there are credit points to be green. You get credit points to be green, and financial credit points to be green, including for the industry itself. So how to connect the dots, that will be the question to be. And hopefully this dialogue today has triggered a conversation into connecting those dots. So it's an honor to be with this distinguished panel, and obviously distinguished audience coming in from Lithuania, from Russia, Barcelona, Australia, and Sweden, and from all over the world who joined us today. And so it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be moderating this panel. And thank you for inviting me, the organizers, the government of Yogyakarta, and the organizers of this panel today. So with that, we can conclude, and we say go Batik, go Jogja Batik.
Yes.
Jogja,
we actually have the greeting. We have the greeting special, Pak George. So everyone, we will have a photo session now. So ladies and gentlemen, we would like to take some photos together. Could you please just activate your web camera, and please give your best smile, and we'll show like this. Yeah, so this is called salam chanting. Yeah, chanting is the tools to make the batik. Yeah, so please kindly you can do like this. Yeah, that's the greeting for taking pictures. Okay, so we'll take picture together with your best smile. Okay. Okay, I have to open for a while for my mascot. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Cheers. Say batik. Jogja, like that. Yeah. Okay. That, thank you. Okay, thank you very much for all the speakers and also moderators, Pak George, for today, for a very insightful conversation. Oh, so we still have another one? Okay, sorry, can we have another one to have this again? Salam chanting again? Salam chanting? Yes. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Let me check with the committee first. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Yes, thank you very much for the participation, for joining this fruitful discussion, Pak George, and also for the speakers, Pak Edric, Bu Irma, and Bu Fetty. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Okay.
See you again.
Okay, see you. Bye, Pak Edric, Bu Irma.
Bye, Bu Irma.
And
Bye, Bu
also
Fetty. Bye, Pak Edric. Bye, Pak George.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye, Bu Irma.
Thank you very much for the speakers and moderator, Pak George, for accompanying me today. And it's my turn now to close the fruitful event for today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining this prestigious event. And we have already got along with all agenda of webinar Jogja International Batik Biennale 2021, Marketability, Internationality, and Sustainability of Batik for Millennial Lifestyle. As a reminder, we will have another amazing agenda. We invite your participation to enjoy the peak of JIBB activity, which is Jogja Membatik Dunia. That will be held on Saturday, November the 6th, 2021 at 2 p.m. Yeah, so don't miss it. You have to join it, okay? Just mark your agenda, November the 6th, 2021 at 2 p.m. So don't forget to follow Jogja International Batik Biennale 2021 activities updates through the official account, Facebook, JIBB, Jogja International Batik Biennial 2021, and then Instagram at JIBB_2021, YouTube channel JIBB 2021, and website www.batikjibb.com. So thank you very much everyone for joining, and salam canting like this, okay? Salam canting Jogja, Kota Batik Dunia.